artificial intelligence has infiltrated the culture. I'm Frank Bob D, and this is Dedicated Etiquette right here on the rap scene. All of these generated AI songs that are dropping is nuts, and artists are starting to push back on what the technology is creating. The Drake and Weeknd record, Hard on My Sleeve, is a prime example of what can be done with AI and has people in hip-hop taking notice. The fact that the record is good has everyone raising their eyebrows, wondering if the two artists actually could put something together like it in real life. Drake himself even tweeted that this is enough and has to stop. The song appeared on DSPs, and we all collectively agreed that it was better than Drake's actual recent single, Search and Rescue. As a matter of fact, there are a number of AI Drake records out here that are arguably better than what he's been putting out himself. Another AI-generated Drake song called Winter's Cold was also recently released, and again, the song is straight heat. The comment section on the video is pretty revealing as the public feels. Drake can drop an album by AI and we'd never notice. I'm driving to work and listening to only AI songs today. We don't care no more if rappers drop albums or nah, AI got power. This is way more realistic than the Hard on My Sleeve joint. All these comments really shows what consumers are gravitating towards. The AI-generated Drake and Weeknd collab Hard on My Sleeve seems to be a tipping point, as it was immediately targeted by Universal Music Group for takedown from streaming services, and UMG is now lobbying for those same DSPs to block AI's access to its music to train its technology. The company man Justin Hunt asks if the better option would be for music groups to just start their own AI departments and capitalize on the newest technological disruption. Just like Justin, I don't have the answer to these questions, but it's clear that even if they do that, the legal action is all about gatekeeping as well as protecting their assets. There has to be something to be said about taking an artist's name, voice, likeness, and everything else that person does to create what that artist creates and do it better. I think Drake and UMG have a right to be mad. Just imagine that you're the biggest rapper in the world, you drop a song and it goes, just like your entire career up until now. It gets mixed reviews, but it's up. Next week you hear a banger from yourself that you never even created and it's all anyone is talking about. Not really cool, right? And Drake is far from the only artist to get the AI treatment. A quick search brings up AI Ye rapping almost anything, AI Pac, AI Playboy Cardi, AI Tyler the Creator, Juice WRLD, Rihanna, Beyonce, and if there's someone you can't find, you can probably just make it yourself. The tech is far from new, it's just advancing at an accelerated rate, and we're gonna see more and more artists being digitally recreated on more and more tracks. The fans love it, so it's not gonna stop. We'll keep seeing these pop up until the consuming public finds something else to be fascinated with. There is a good chance that these AI generated songs become mere memes in the near future, but while the general public moves on, the tech's gonna remain and definitely will continue to influence how music is being made moving forward. Artists themselves would have access to an unlimited data set to train their own models and manipulate their actual releases to no end. And like my man from the YouTube comments said, we'd probably never even know it. There are definitely questions surrounding who actually owns the music made by AI models. Is it the artist the model was trained on, the person creating the piece, the machine it was made on? It really is sort of Orwellian. There's definitely no way to stop them from accessing copyrighted material, so is it just something the industry's gonna have to deal with in the form of endless takedowns and cease and desists? Sad to say, but you know people are already writing verses on AI language processors like ChatGPT. Do they own that material? Word to the MCs, do not use AI to write your verses. Some of these songs are clumsy and obviously fake, while others sound equal to or better than the original thing. Dehumanization is the worst concept of what we think about when we talk about AI, but this digitally created borderline theft is not the birth of Skynet. The powers that be have definitely been working on this sudden revolution for a lot of years now, but this is definitely a time to embrace what's going on and be able to communally shape what's being presented to us. There's a huge concept that argues against a machine actually having bars and is only capable of making an algorithm on what it has programmed into it. It smells like a huge lawsuit coming in the near future that's only going to fuel the public fire, while there's very little we can do to stop what's happening. People are being fooled left and right, but even the most surface level music consumer can hear a lack of humanity in these compositions. In the case of the Drake records, the voice, cadence, flow, inflections, and everything else are pretty spot on, but something is missing from all the ones I've heard. What's missing is Drake. No matter how good any of them are, it's not the actual thing. It would be nuts to think that our favorite artists are gonna need a disclaimer about how their music is sourced, or even crazier, that an AI generator gets writing credit for the banger of 20 Money 4. Maybe they'll come up with an AI deal or something that uses the model to the effect of a 360 deal. Sounds like something that's already in place, but if it's not, it's just going to be another area that rappers are going to have to be knowledgeable about negotiating. Check this out. This whole video was digitally created by me through AI up until I just said check this out. That's not hard to believe, but it's also not true. I didn't use any form of AI in any step of the creation of this video, but you'd never know that if I didn't tell you. AI doesn't look or sound like Max Headroom anymore. It looks and sounds like the biggest artist in the game today. Universal Music Group undoubtedly could have taken a different approach to what's happening with AI, and how it looks going forward is a toss-up. But believe you me, these computer-generated digital ripoffs cannot continue to overshadow what the actual artist goes in the studio to make happen. In this conversation, people have been bringing up FM Mecca, the virtual robot rapper powered partly by artificial intelligence and partly by augmented reality, but it's not really the same deal. There's a team of artists behind the music that Mecca makes, and while it may incorporate aspects of AI, it's more of a computer-generated artist. It was signed and dropped by Capitol Records in an attempt to get ahead of what's happening today. It's pretty fantastic that this is what we're actually talking about. Fantastic as is, it's almost fantasy, not fantastic like it's a great thing. But honestly, it could be a great thing, depending on what you're doing in and of the field, because it honestly is the next generation playing out right before our eyes. This Matrix music could become a necessary tool for rappers coming up, or it could be the downfall of the music industry. It all depends on what record companies can do about it, and of course, what we the public decide to support when it drops. It all just feels like a natural progression of an unnatural entity, and it's hard to imagine a world where we can just keep using Drake's voice and flow for purposes beyond pure novelty. It's a classic example of the internet's just gonna internet. Just try and stop heads out there from spending their time on whatever it is you don't want them to do, and you're gonna find that they just want to do it more simply out of spite. Those in charge do need to protect what they have, just like the powerless need to create ways to challenge the structure. At the very least, they create a niche response that keeps evolving ways to one-up you. Sure sounds like a better option to integrate what you're fighting against rather than a desperate, haterish, albeit successful campaign to shut things down. It must be surreal though to ask an AI generator to create something in your own voice and style, then have it spit out something that you could never even think of. The concept of them not being themselves is being challenged here, or at the very least, what is art anyway? There's an inherent degrading of what it means to create at the very heart of this conversation, and its importance extends way beyond hip-hop or R&B or rock and roll or jazz or any other form of music. I mean, if I'm gonna buy your album, I don't want any AI created music. Straight up and down. If I can get a program that can say what I want you to say, how I want you to say it, what good are you to me as an artist or a journalist or a podcast host or anything else that I can get a computer to do? This is extremely scary and interesting at the same time, but it does mean something, and I can't wait to see more of what these AI generated records are gonna mean for the future of music. Thanks for watching, yo. You whack if you don't like and subscribe. Click the description for all the links to the socials, because we out here doing it. I'm Frank 5D, and this is Dedicated Etiquette right here on the rap scene. Positive energy activates, constant elevation.